continue to keep an eye on this storm. It's now crossing Highway 165, and we're just gonna make sure that that area doesn't begin to tighten up just a little bit there. At some point, folks, I guarantee you, this threat is going to start to wind down. We're at midnight now, or just a couple minutes shy of it. It will start to diminish somewhat, but I think it may take a while because eastern Arkansas is warm and humid. Just really never rained for you folks there all day today. And the temperatures, I think, are still very, very warm. I'm going to go and show you the temperature profile around the state. And you can see even now at Pine Bluff, it's 80 degrees, 77 at Stuttgart. We've cooled down into the 60s here. It's 51 at Fayetteville. But there's still a lot of warm air out here, even though the tornado parameters aren't nearly what they were. Not nearly what they were, but still a lot of warm and humid air. And just plenty of energy for these storms to work with and plenty of humidity. It's just a very volatile air mass.
Yeah, I think the isolated tornado threat may continue here and there overnight, but we don't expect it to be just a widespread threat. As we continue to watch this this storm that's north of England and up towards Keogh, headed towards Pettis, this is where the warm, humid air is trying to get pulled into the storm. We don't notice just a ton of rotation through here right now, and Zach Hardcastle is in the area. Also did get a report of, let's see, highway towards Sheridan is shut down. That looks like trees were down somewhere down there near Sheridan. That kind of lines up with the report Brett Adair gave us. We have nothing from the Weather Service. They currently have no plan to extend this tornado warning. But given the look that the storm has, we'll just stick with it a few more moments before we kind of transition back to regular overnight programming, and we'll be here watching for the potential of any of these other storms to act up with the tornado watch that's in effect. Some of the other storms further towards the southwest are beginning to intensify. You've got this line of storms down here from Nevada County up to Clark County up to Malvern. And those, assuming they can progress eastward, you'll actually, maybe those storms will end up in the Pine Bluff area. Barry, it's a good thing right now the axis of heaviest rain is shifted south of I-30, and that leaves Garland, Saline, and Pulaski County, the areas that have gotten 6 inches of rain already, a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it's what I was saying. We're going to get more rain, but the heaviest rain is pushing eastward. Now, these storms down here, as they push eastward, are pushing into some warm and humid air. And there could be some outflow that these will eventually run into from the storms that we've had come through Grant County. And we hope that's the case. But still down to the south of that, I think there could be some wind with those storms all the way from east of Arkadelphia. Although we've had heavier rainfall there earlier, but just that leading edge out there, not severe thunderstorm warned. And on down from Gurdon southward into northwestern Ouachita County. It's just so crazy that we've had, and you can see an outflow boundary there. It's almost all the way to Pine Bluff. So I think these storms a little more outflow producing, at least down to the south here, kind of riding that boundary right up here in the England area. But we'll watch all of them, and as we progress through the night, still a notch trying to be noted there west of Pettis, but the rotation is very weak. So just be warned, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, that these storms could, at the moment's notice, produce something in regards to a small tornado, perhaps. Probably won't last long if it happened at all, and we don't know that it actually will.
Yeah, that rotation is still very, very weak, and it's a very good thing that it is weak, because we don't want any more tornado warnings tonight. Now, if by chance this does re-strengthen, we will get on that with wall-to-wall coverage, but at least at the current moment, there doesn't look like there is anything eminently tornadic in the state. I mean, it looks like right now things are kind of in the process of quieting down. So you've got the high winds going into Lonoke County, maybe a little bit of hail in that storm too. These are strong storms for sure. And the strongest storms are right along the I-30 corridor now, just getting towards the east. But that's high winds down in South Arkansas. And it looks like we've got some outflow, which is just wind being pushed out of a storm. And if the wind is being pushed out of the storm, it can't bring wind into the storm, which is how you get tornadoes. So still an impressive-looking storm that's headed for Lone Oak and Carlisle. But again, having looked at it at multiple sources, I just don't see any reason to think that we are going to have rotation with that anytime soon.
Right, over into Scott County, there's going to be a tornado, or there's a severe thunderstorm warning. That's in western Arkansas, and that'll be the only other one. So these are still strong storms back here. It'd be very difficult for these to produce tornado, though, just given the environment back behind there. But they're training over the same areas. Notice the direction of movement. Yeah, and there's been rain there and been rain there. So that's another component of that flooding thing that we're talking about. Still a severe thunderstorm warning off to the east. A lot of times, if there's just a severe thunderstorm warning, I say just a severe thunderstorm warning. They're like, well, we have thousands of those per year, and we're going to let you go back to programming. But in this environment, let's just watch it a little bit longer. There's rain coming up on Carlisle. It's kind of spreading out very quickly there. And
let's take Zach Hardcastle's feed. You can see the base of the storm now in the lightning as he's going up to it here to the west. Let's see if we can get a few lightning flashes. Yeah, you can kind of see the base of the clouds there. Certainly could have a shelf cloud there, maybe even a wall cloud if it's beginning to take in a little bit of the, if it's trying to get some inflow in there near Pettis. This is Storm Chaser Zach Hardcastle, and this is his YouTube page. Of course, he may run into a service issue here and there, but this has been a pretty good stream that we have followed all day long. And the storm now that we're watching in central Lone Oak County, it has not had a huge tornado risk with it, but it has been tornado warned at some time. It did do a little bit of damage as it came through the Sheridan area, whether it was a tornado or some straight line wind damage. We're not really sure, but we sure are glad that with the ones that came through Little Rock, it appears like the circulation stayed aloft the whole time. So no power outages and nothing really major to speak of with that except some heavy rain. So this is, again, Storm Chaser Zach Hardcastle. You can see there on the right side of your screen that it looks like the base of the storm, or the base of the front of the clouds that are moving now into central Lone Oak County near Pettis. I would imagine he's either on Highway 31 or maybe he's a little bit further towards the east. That's a pretty good view there that we've got. This is coming from central Lone Oak County. So you could actually tell there's pretty low cloud base there on the right side. It doesn't mean it's tornadic, but he's probably trying to get a view of that inflow notch there as he races off towards the north on 31. It doesn't look like we're seeing any new signs of rotation, not from the best I can tell, Barry. I mean, it's very weak.
It is. It's trying to, between Pettis and Lone Oak.
Yeah, very weak rotation still.
Yeah, it's very weak, but it'd be along Highway 31 there. And so we're just going to continue to watch this storm, but pretty unimpressive. And that's good news. That's always what we want. But it is a line of a lot of lightning and a lot of wind with this, and hopefully it begins to calm down a little bit. I'll just take you back as it went through Keogh, and that notch is still just trying to hang on right there north of Pettis. Hopefully getting into an area where there is some outflow. I see a little outflow out east of Pettis right there, but just on the north side of that, it could still have some inflow with it. But there is outflow out to the east of England, right here, and on down to the east of Redfield. So this is putting out some cooler air, at least for a brief area out to the east of all of this. And that really kind of means that those storms are not able to grow to really large levels. Carlisle, you're going to have a lot of lightning and thunder along I-40. We can probably look at some of the iDrive Arkansas maps, but it's going to be just heavy rainfall along Lone Oak to Carlisle and out east of the Little Rock area. putting this into motion over the last 45 minutes. You can see the direction of movement, and that notch continues to move up in a place that would take it out just to the west of Carlisle, really along I-40. It is not tornado warned, but given the environment, we're just going to stay with it. I mean, we've been here, James, for 12 plus hours, so we might as well stay with it until the end.
A few more.
Yeah, yeah. And we're just going to make sure everybody's safe tonight. The more you know, the more better we can communicate it, the safer we can be. And boy, we just want to get through this, what has been a horrid few days of severe weather, and it's not over yet, and the flooding threat that is coming. We just want to get through with no lives lost and with the minimum of injuries. So take the flooding threat seriously, and I think we'll be able to get through this whole thing if we're smart about this with just a bare minimum of injury and hopefully no fatalities at all. And that, given what this looked like, that's saying something out of all of this. And there it is right there. Doesn't look much different than it did.
The rotation's still really weak, and kind of while we look at this, I want to set the table for tomorrow again. If you're still watching on air, online, wherever it may be, we appreciate you coming to us for your weather information. There's tons and tons and tons of places for you to get information. Just like if I wanted to fly from Little Rock to Dallas, there's 5 different airlines that do that. And so if you pick us, thank you very much. We're certainly going to be here for you. We'll be here all the way through the afternoon tomorrow. This line of storms looks like it's going to try to just orient itself. Instead of north-south, it's going to be more east-west by the time we wake up in the morning. And that's what's going to lead to flash flooding here in Little Rock. And there is a new tornado warning. So, Barry, we are back on it. That's going to be the Pettis storm. And that's going to include Lone Oak.
Yeah.
That's going to include Carlisle. Let's head to the tornado shelters, everybody. If you're in Carlisle, I'm going to give Beth Hunt a text.
And it's looking at, let's go to storm scan if we can real quick. I'm going to show you just a scan that goes, not just the lowest level scan, but going up just a little. And there you can see.
There's a little, oh yeah, it's gotten a lot better in the last
and
couple
that
of
is
scans.
that is at almost 4,000 feet, but there is an area there. And as you go down, you don't see quite the rotation that you do at the surface. But again, at 4,000 feet, there is rotation within this storm, and that is up at 11,000 feet right there. So we don't know if it's making it down to the ground, but I will tell you that that is why they issued the warning, and it's right there, and it's headed up toward the Carlisle area. That's exactly why we stayed on with this storm as it moves that way, that little notch area there. And we can go back to Zach Hardkessel's, well, he's moving, I think, up that way, but let's come back here, and I'll show you the notch that we're talking about. Carlisle, you're in this tornado warning. Lone Oak, you're in it. I think the rotating part of it is going to be coming closer to Carlisle than it is to Lone Oak.
That developed fast.
Yeah, it really did, and that's what we were saying. At a moment's notice, they can just tighten up just a little bit, and doesn't mean that it'll be long-lived.
Yeah.
But let's just get into that interior part of your house, lowest level, go to where you're going to be most protected with the most barriers between you and the outside as is possible. And
all right,
this is never fun at nighttime.
I'm going street by street here. There's Lone Oak right there. Here's the rotation. It's off of Highway 31. There's Tomlinson Road, Wilson Road, and there's Highway 70, and there's Sizemore. I believe this is moving towards the northeast, so if you're in Lone Oak, go ahead and get into the shelter, but I don't think this is going to just take a jog just towards the north. But let's go ahead and get into the shelter just in case it does. This is, it's not far from Lone Oak, but it is moving generally east-northeast, and that's going to take it in the direction of I-40 in Carlisle. You see Stewart Farm Road there on the screen there. Anywhere between Lone Oak and Carlisle off Highway 70. Let's get to the interior room of your house, or let's get into the storm shelter, one or the other. And I'll circle this for you, and I'll kind of direct you exactly where I think this thing is headed. It does look like it's headed in the general direction of Carlisle. So Carlisle, again, I've said it a couple of times. Let's be in the shelter. This is just some rotation that has just quickly ramped up here. This is just what's probably the makings of an attempt at some rotation. We've seen this a couple of times tonight where storms have tried to rotate, and really storms overall have not all been that successful at putting down tornadoes, but we'll see if this one can. Barry's might have some rotation.
Okay, I've got the, on Storm Scan, I've got the iDrive Arkansas map. And there's a lot of lightning with this storm. This is looking westbound from Carlisle.
You see the base there.
Yeah, and if you just look, you'll see a lot of lightning coming out of the bottom of this storm. But yeah, it's there is some lowering base of the storm itself off in the distance. Yeah.
Does Zach Hardcastle have anything?
He didn't. He was still
still repositioning.
Yeah.
Yes, these storms aren't easy to position for.
I'm going to go back and see if we can get a look. This also looking westbound from Lone Oak.
That doesn't look fun.
Yeah, it's just torrential rainfall there around the Lone Oak area. Let's see if we can get an eastbound looking camera. Yeah, this is Lone Oak looking eastbound. Some folks are pulling off to the side of the road there. Trucks are pulling off or flashing lights because the rain is so torrential. And this is on the west side of Lone Oak, but looking off to the east. I think the best shot of this was actually the shot from Carlisle looking westbound. You can see the bottom of that storm.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot there. You can see the base of the storm, though I think the rotation may be embedded in the rain behind the rain shield. I'll step out in front of it here, and I'll show you. This is the line of storms right here, and the tornado likely kind of embedded back in there. If we're looking off I-40, we need to be looking back in this direction right here. Wow. I mean, the lightning it's lighting up the storm. You can certainly make out the different features. Barry, what exit is this at?
This is the Carlisle exit.
Okay, so this is looking exact. Let's
just
keep an eye on this camera, because I think this is the circulation is headed in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's probably embedded in rain and too difficult, so you can't rule anything out just by looking at this. But I don't see any giant lowering just from this camera. And just looking at it, I would say from that camera, we're probably looking 5 or 6 miles off towards the southwest where the area of rotation is.
Right.
So it probably would be visible if we had something. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, you can come back here and I'll show what we're looking at. We're looking from the Carlisle exit there, and it's kind of looking back to the west-southwest, and that's where that area of inbound winds and outbound winds from the Little Rock radar are, and moving up, and it'll move just to the west of Carlisle. It looks like perhaps in there, if you're in Carlisle, they'll get into that safe spot, or points just off to the west, off to the east of Lone Oak, anywhere between Lone Oak and Carlisle on I-40 there. The traffic is pretty sparse along there, but yeah, you can definitely see the bottom of that storm. If we could... yeah, let's go back to it there, because the lightning is really starting to light up the sky. Maybe James can, yeah. But there it is, right where the lightning strike is.
Uh-huh.
There's been a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning, and it's pretty much constant now. So that's the storm that we're talking about. It's almost like daylight occasionally.
Yeah, I can make out the base of the storm. I can make out a little bit of a lowering. Maybe back in here, where you might have something kind of hidden in the rain. I don't think we'd be having to look too far to the southwest. It just seemed like it was just 5 or 6 miles southwest. Lots of cloud-to-ground lightning there. Maybe I can start to make out a little bit of a wall cloud back in here as well as this moves towards I-40. This is at Carlisle, looking towards the west. Carlisle, you're under a tornado warning. We're wanting you to head towards your tornado-safe place just for the next few minutes. As this makes its way towards I-40, and we'll cross over I-40 here shortly, very close to Carlisle, or just west of Carlisle. This is a great camera position that we've got, looking towards the west. I think the rotation now is, it's still on the weaker side.
Yeah, and hopefully it stays that way. It never makes it down to the ground. I mean, we think that has happened some here in the last hour or so in the Little Rock area and points southeastward, but You can never trust that completely. And we're going to assume that this is a tornado that's on the ground, even though it may not be. Let's just get into the interior of our house, and hopefully the rotational aspect of this storm will really die very quickly. Won't be a long-lived type of thing. You can see some cars there going westbound, but very few of them coming back from the west toward the east, coming toward the camera there.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing.
Not a great night to be on the road, and I think a lot of cars are stopped probably over around Lone Oak as they drive into such torrential rainfall.
So I think we're starting to lose the rotation there, kind of embedded in the rain. Looks like it ingested maybe a little something that helped it begin to rotate. So let's go back to the camera, or the Max 1 here. Started to wrap up near Pettis, and then as it moves off towards the northeast, it's still there, but it is quite a bit weaker. Now, it does have some inflow wind along the leading edge of the line now that it could possibly try to rotate with right over Carlisle, and that could just lead to a brief tornado, not something long track or anything like that. And that's what these lines will do. They'll rotate, try to produce a tornado, and then they won't, and it'll be over. And then they'll try it again about 30 to 45 minutes later. So the tornado warning right now, it takes this circulation through Carlisle, north of Hazen, all the way up towards Des Arc. So Des Arc actually is included in the warning, and the circulation heads off towards the northeast over the next 30 minutes or so. It could try to reform a circulation, even though the current one that we had been tracking just a few minutes ago had kind of fallen apart, which is not too surprising because these tornadoes are generally pretty brief. They do not last long. And there's still a little bit of rotation just near I-40 west and north of Carlisle. Again, we're looking at it on a few different sources. And there's some very strong wind just off towards the northwest of, really towards the north of I-40. Looks like there's some strong wind north of Sizemore. You imagine you get on this flat ground out east of town, there's not as much stuff on the ground. That's trees, hills, or anything to break up the wind, so it'll be a little bit stronger out here. There's just a little strong wind right there, a little weak rotation right there, and then you've got a little bit of wind on the front of this thing that's trying to get its way into the storm. We'll see if that can wrap up. I know the rotation's weak. I don't see the Weather Service maybe canceling this warning anytime soon, just because of the way the storm looks and kind of how it's behaved since it left the Little Rock metro area.
We have flash flood warnings that are in effect in a number of spots, including all around the Little Rock area, back down I-30 toward Arkadelphia. This includes Saline County and Pulaski County, and we've just had such rain and runoff, even though the rain has really gotten just a little bit lighter here in the last little bit, but we have more coming. And you can see from Benton down to the south in Saline County, another batch of rain. We'll go back in time on this, and it's going to move right up into the Little Rock area too, taking in most of the area. And so that's that next batch of rain. We talk about round after round after round. That's what's going to be happening. Still, though, we're looking for the wind component of this storm, which I believe is weakening some as it moves into Carlisle.
So.
Yeah, and points to the north, but it's just pockets of wind there that you're seeing around that area. But still, there's a little notch, and the National Weather Service is going to probably stick with that as it moves across Highway 13 off to the north of Carlisle. Carlisle looks like you've got heavy rain moving into the area. I see no obvious sign of rotation there, so that's some great news. And so we watch that, which is, except for Scott County. No, that's Logan County. Except for Logan County, that's the only warning within the state of Arkansas right now. It's really turning into a broad area of rain with pockets of heavier rain. This corridor of heavy rain hopefully begins to shift over to the east. And I'm not wishing a lot of rain on you folks off to the east, but we don't need any more here. And if it is progressively moving a little bit to the east, then those areas won't get rain over and over and over again. We go back into the Lonoke County storm.
I think it continues to weaken.
Yeah, we'll go back in time here and I'll just show you the progression of it. You can see kind of wrapping a little bit there between Lone Oak and Pettus, and then kind of broadening out as it moves out into the I-40 corridor. Torrential rain, though, on the Carlisle Cam 1 Storyteller.
Yeah, let's go back and check that camera.
Folks moving very, very slowly along.
So this is where the circulation would have been.
Mm-hmm.
If we could take the Carlisle Cam, Steve. Oh, that's the Redfield Tower. Let's
sorry, we take it on
take
storm scan.
There we
Sure.
go.
There we go. And,
Yeah,
well, there is still
very heavy
some
there.
traffic. Just sheets of rainfall, though. And I don't think those trucks are moving very fast tonight.
Yeah, we were looking out towards the base of the storm. I had a storm spotter in Carlisle, Mike Moody, said he was looking back towards the base of the storm and he could not see a lowering. And we couldn't make out really a lowering from this camera either. So I think that's a good sign that maybe the tornado potential is just not there with this storm. So might even get an early cancellation from the Weather Service. This tornado warning is in effect until 1 a.m. Barry, I just can't see it remaining in effect for 36 more minutes based on its current...
No, not unless it tightens back up as it heads up toward Desert, but I think, I don't know that that's all that likely. But we will see. We have been shocked by lesser things than this. But for right now, we are in a mode where it doesn't seem all that tight. Just checking some messages here from people who've had some reports of some hail, some wind damage, but this has not been a giant tornado outbreak, although we've had some tornadoes. It's going to be a wind event, and it's going to be a big flooding event, as this will last overnight, and it will last into tomorrow and even into tomorrow afternoon, and in some cases in southeast Arkansas, even in tomorrow evening and overnight. So this is a long-term thing. If we can get past tonight, though, I think the tornado threat really dies. We'll have some severe weather threat in the southeastern quarter of the state for tomorrow. But that's the better news out of all of this. We can get at least one aspect of this, the big severe weather threat aspect out of this. I think everybody's going to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. And then we have to just deal with being extremely careful flooding-wise. You've got to just be very cognizant of areas that could be flooded. Think about in times past. And I think there's going to be river flooding that will last for a long time after this. The storm continues to move off to the northeast. Velocity indication on it pretty ragged out to the northeast of Carlisle now, moving through a lot of farmland out to the northeast there. And the planting that was in full force across the state is going to be coming to a halt if it has not already in a lot of spots because of all the rainfall, and it's going to be a while before the farmers can get back into the field out there.
Looks like we're getting some redevelopment of circulation there south of I-40 or near Highway 70.
Oh, between Carlisle and Hazen?
Yeah, just the last couple of scans looks like it's kind of the front of that line's kind of working on maybe some of the wind that's in front of it, and it's trying to just be a quick spin up there on Highway 86. So this is the south side of I-40, and this is near Hazen Municipal, and there's Hazen right there towards the east. Again, this is not very strong rotation, but you've got a strong storm there. It's had a history of having pockets of rotation. You know, it's just this little notch right here that kind of kicks out like that. And think about it, you've just got a wall of wind coming up against a wall of wind, and if you can orient that in the right direction, well, then you can start to ingest some of that wind, and that's how you can get it to spin, and that's how you can get a brief tornado. And Barry, I think we just saw it tighten up again.
On the last scan?
On the last scan there. That's over Highway 70.
Yeah.
Near Hazen Municipal. I don't think they're going to issue a new tornado warning to cover this. Hazen, you're technically not in the tornado warning. Let's go ahead and head to the shelter. This is just going to pass just north of town, and it's going to cross I-40. It's actually a little bit stronger right there, right on Highway 70.
Yep.
I mean, it is right there, and it's just tightened up. There's a little bit of a hook there.
We don't have any cameras that are looking.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had something down out here. Tough to tell if there's any debris with it. but would not be surprised if we had something down there off Highway 70, South Anderson Road near the Hazen Airport. That's South Hanson Road, South Anderson Road, in that vicinity right there. It's just a very small but tight circulation that we have, and that's just happened kind of in the last couple of minutes. No debris signature noted on radar, but definitely a very it's a very tight. When I say tight, I mean you've got one red pixel. Sometimes you have multiple, but this time we have one red pixel up against one green pixel, so you know that the winds are a little bit faster in that region, and that's where we've got our tornado. This is right on Highway 70, and it's going to be moving east-northeast, going to go just on the north side of Hazen. The Greenwalt Company sits up here. That's where this is headed, right along County Road 530 and right up South Anderson Road. Should have another radar scan here in just a moment, and it looks like it's already moved up closer to I-40 now. So it's moving pretty quick. There it is. It's just south of I-40 between Highway 70 and I-40. And we are still getting tons of lightning and thunder here in the metro area. So Hazen, let's shelter in place here. If you're on I-40, it's not a great night to be driving on I-40. Yeah, the Weather Service says the storm is still ingesting its downdraft and trying to produce tornadoes. So we've got the circulation there continuing off South Anderson Road. The very busy I-40 runs through right here, Barry. I think you said there's not much of in the way of cameras riding through here.
No, and the one at the Hazen exit is pointed off to the east.
Okay.
The one at the Carlisle exit is pointed west. So there's no camera that's pointing toward that storm.
That's just all right. Probably wouldn't see much anyway, given that it's nighttime here. This is going to approach Highway 249 and at I-40 here very shortly. And we're getting new radar scans here about every 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We are past 12:30 and didn't have the major tornado outbreak I thought we might have, but we've had sporadic storms rotating. We've been on the air plenty. We've seen quite a bit of hail, a few funnel clouds, and quite a bit of flash flooding, which we are going to see more of. All right, looks like the inflow notch is just over or on I-40 now. We'll be seeing the newest scan there probably take a jog towards the north. Otherwise, Barry, I think this very quickly got wrapped in rain. That would just be almost impossible to see at night.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you'd have any chance to see it.
Yeah, it began to tighten up a little bit, and now I don't think it's strong, but there is that notch that's trying, and it's still out there on to the northwest of Hazen, coming up on the Hazen exit. I'll try to pull the camera back up, even though it's pointing eastbound at Hazen. We'll see if it looks like traffic's moving fairly freely, but it's looking out to the east. So we're going to hang on to this for a while longer. It's Anderson Road, the Greenwalt Company, South Raper Road, Weems Road, and then Country Club Road is on out to the north. And this would be this very tight circulation there, just coming across to the northwest of Hazen as it then crosses over and Highway 11 intersects there just to the north of I-40. Backing out, we'll put this in, you can see the notch, and it's wanting to rotate. And I think up above, there is definitely some rotation. You probably, if it was daylight, you'd probably even see some of the just lowering of the cloud base, perhaps a little bit. And it's tornado warned storm, so let's just, for a little while, if you're out to the northwest of Hazen, let's go ahead and get in that safe spot right there along I-40, right at the exit as it comes down into Hazen, Highway 249. Just go ahead and get into that lowest spot in your house, most interior spot. And hopefully the rotation with this will really relax quite a bit very quickly. Then we'll probably have to look for other things along, because I don't think this is going away quite yet.
All right, Barry, the number one comment, I just checked our Facebook stream's comments. Number one comment is, can I go to bed? Saw Valonia, North Little Rock, Conway, Hot Springs. Basically, if you're west of this line of storms, you could have long been asleep because you're just getting rain and
Yeah.
thunderstorms and a flash flood threat. It's right along this leading edge where you could have these brief isolated tornadoes. So that's what we're going to be watching for the rest of the night. But either way, it's our job to stay up and watch the weather for you. Just have that alert set for tornado warnings. And if you get that alert and you need to seek shelter like those in Carlisle and Hazen tonight, then you can do that. But the metro area, we're going to give you the all clear. Rain and storms continues. Tornado threat, though, is over for the metro area. And down to the Arkadelphia area, Hot Springs, the line of heavy storms is now pushed towards the east. So we'll watch this line as it approaches the Pine Bluff area. And this line out in eastern Arkansas as it continues into Woodruff County. Those 3 line segments are really the main show, I think. And these are just really leftover bits of the supercells that moved out of Oklahoma earlier. That is really the main show that we are watching for. Otherwise, this is mainly going to be a flood threat, and the tornado warning continues out in that's Prairie County, and Childers sits there, Bucks Landing sits there. There's the that's going to be the White River Bridge on I-40 north of Bisco. That's right there as well. We still have a little bit of rotation there, just to the north of I-40. Still a pretty strong circulation, I mean, just north of the Hazen exit on I-40. It's small, it's just a few pixels, but you can get brief, isolated tornadoes. It looks like this is pretty close to West Country Club Road, just off the freeway. You can get brief tornadoes with a circulation like this, just a few pixels of fast winds blowing toward the radar, fast winds blowing away, and that tells me that there's at least something that is trying to spin right there. Doesn't mean it's reaching the ground, and these today often have not. Now, I will tell you that it looks like it's completely embedded in rainfall, so it's probably absolutely impossible to see. Probably pretty skinny, and this type of tornado would usually manifest itself with maybe a piece of farm equipment thrown, a tree down, a power line down, something like that. And there's the last scan. Really beginning to weaken as it approached Highway 11. So just that quick. You had 4 scans of a tight circulation, and now there's not much there, and certainly not as much as we just had. So still some rotation there off of Highway 11, but it is much, much weaker. We'll continue to watch that inflow notch there, which I'll point out to you is just a little bit of an indentation, kind of a hook in the line. That's where the warm air gets pulled in, and that's where you can end up with a brief tornado. And looks like very soon, I think this is going to stay on the south side of this tornado warning and maybe stay south of Desark. But I don't think this area of rotation is going to be around a whole lot longer. I think this one is, at least in this specific spot, kind of on the way down. I do want to check out the northern side of the storm. Looks like we're starting to get an increase in winds there on the north side, so perhaps the area of rotation that's southwest of Desark is trying to make another attempt at wrapping up there. That's approaching Desark from the southwest. Oh, man, it just won't end.
It just won't end.
Just will not end.
We feel for you folks that are out to the east of this line. A lot of anxiety. I know the threat is not what it was, but it's not zero. And so we're going to have to stay with this for a while longer until we start to see some different things happen. But the eastward progression of this is just really, really slow. Moving back into the Little Rock area right now, another batch of rainfall put this into motion, and another just rain event here. Flooding is going to be a real problem. It's going to rain all night. It just depends on where the heaviest axis of rain sets up, and from right now it looks like Benton to Little Rock and maybe just points to the east of there. And then the leading edge of this, including the storms down to the south, we're going to watch. But I think it's more concentrated on this area that we're seeing out around Desark and out into the eastern part of Carlisle, of Lonoke County, and into Prairie County right now. And this is the one that we're watching. It's, the rotation very diffuse, but this area of wind is going to be heading up into the direction of Desark. And now you're in the tornado warning there. We're going to watch this. But this was the area on the southern end of it where we had the rotating part of it, at least for a little while. It tried to rotate. I think these storms are having a difficult time doing that. which is great. That's what we want. We see the wind up in the storm, and that doesn't mean it always translates to a tornado on the ground. So that is good news, and sometimes we have to, that's why we rely on storm chasers for some ground truth on, hey, is this really happening?
And I've got some reports from Blake. He lives out there, 20 to 30 mile per hour winds out of the south there, and Carlisle. And he still has power. That's between Carlisle and Hazen, north of I-40. So
yeah, that's a good thing, because we've been looking at the Entergy map, and there are some power outages on the west side of Lone Oak. We don't know. I'm going to just kind of blow it up here. Lone Oak, kind of the west side of town, and out to the west, there are some power outages there. It could be from lightning, it could be any number of things, but it could be from some wind as well, and that extends up to the north. Now, 10,900 in just the Entergy system without power, and then in the state now, according to poweroutage.us, 16,000 without power. So one of the harder hit is Lone Oak at 2,800, 1,100 in Saline County, 1,575 in Hot Spring County, 140 in Prairie County. In Little Rock, a lot more customers here and only 621 outages. So Lone Oak County and Hot Springs County have been hit fairly hard, 1,800 in Garland County, again over 1,000 in Saline County. So there are some power outages there around the Lone Oak area tonight, and that's no fun, but we continue to watch the storm north of Devall's Bluff, south of Des Arc, and the wind part of it. I don't see a lot there. There is some wind, though, that's trying to bow out, and we'll see if it can ingest any of the wind. But
yeah, I think this may be in the process of weakening, and if that continues, they're going to let the warning go.
Right. Yeah, circulation is weakening, says Dennis Kavanaugh, warning coordination meteorologist at the National Weather Service, our partners over there.
All right,
so
while
that'd be a good thing.
Wait for that to continue to weaken. I can show you kind of where we expect things to go from here, and none of this model data has been just perfect. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of things changing. The atmosphere is a fluid. We're taking away general ideas from a model run like this. It's showing the big line of storms, maybe a little more solid than it is, but later tonight it orients it really from north-south to east-west, and when that happens, the axis of heaviest rain just kind of stays right over central Arkansas. So much more rain to go. Tomorrow, through the course of the morning, there's going to be a line of storms that moves from west to east. We don't think the tornado threat is high tomorrow, but there is the threat of a few tornadoes down in south and east Arkansas, and anything that gets going in advance, plus along the line that moves through during the day. So the rain continues for most of the day. In Little Rock, it's going to get really, really heavy by about midday as this line swings through, and then it's going to move into eastern Arkansas, and the severe threat wind and the flash flood threat wind and this terrible stretch of weather will finally come to an end, really not immediately, but you see as we go into Sunday, the rain becomes a whole lot lighter. Sunday is going to be an extremely cold April day. High temperatures are going to be in the low 50s. I think we might set a record cold high if everything else wasn't enough to top it off. The model that we've been showing continues to show additional 2 to 5 inch rainfall amounts across most of the state. However, there's going to be a band. And remember, every model update we get, it's going to show less because it has been raining and we're moving further into the event. But there could be a band of 5+ inches of rain still oriented from southwest into northeast Arkansas, and everything really has that being right through the metro area. So looking at some rain gauges now through much of central Arkansas, the ones that have updated. It looks like we are looking at many locations here in Little Rock getting over 3 to 5 inches so far. It's over 6 inches in Garland County. Towards Grant County and Jefferson County, we're over 5 inches. And the same can be said just north of the metro area and into eastern Arkansas. Now, there are a couple of gauges. Arkadelphia at the airport there, 3-day rainfall total is over 6 inches, getting close to 7 inches. And Barry, I've got some pictures of some major flooding from out there in the Arkadelphia area. The Saline River at Dirks is getting close to 9 inches of rainfall. So there are a few places that are getting those higher totals that we did not want, and there's still quite a bit to go over the course of tonight and tomorrow. So obviously it's a winter weather scene. Turn that off and go back to the severe weather scene that we've got here, and we'll go back across the southwest part of the state. We've still got lots of storms that are moving northeast. The heaviest thunderstorms and the three that had the chance to be severe are just south of Little Rock. More heavy rain is moving into the south side of Little Rock, and then you've got a lot more heavy rain headed up into southwest Arkansas, which will eventually make its way up into the central part of the state. The last tornado warning in the state includes Des Arc, and this warning is almost out of space, and so they may opt to not carry this warning forward. I mean, we do have some weak rotation on the west side of Des Arc.
Yeah, and there's wind. There's certainly wind there, but it's trying to wrap a little bit.
Trying to wrap around
west of Des Arc.
Yeah,
so go ahead and stay in that safe spot. You're in the tornado warning, Des Arc.
Yeah.
Go ahead and stay there, and let's ride this out. We're going to see what indeed this does, but that last little bit just shows a little bit of a wrap. Certainly, it's going to be wind. You're going to have a very gusty wind field coming in to the city there. But let's just stay away from exterior walls and windows, get in that lowest spot in your house, most interior spot, and get a bunch of barriers between you and the outside, as many as you can put between you and the outside. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go a little tighter on it, and I will go back a few scans.
Yeah, that's right on the west side of Des Arc there.
Yeah. Not terribly impressive, but it's trying to wrap up some wind around that circulation center. And so that's out on the west side of town. That's Whitaker Lane. Really just the west side of Des Arc, Highway 11 coming down in there. Highway 38, the intersection there. Lover's Lane. A lot of spots. And it is a tornado-warned storm, and we are certainly not certain that this is a tornado at all, but it's just trying to get the act together there. There's the street maps of Des Arc. And the general rotation with the rain being pulled around a circulation center there. And hopefully, like a lot of these, it's not putting anything down. Debris-wise, I don't see anything like that. So we're just going to watch it.
And most of these tonight have stayed aloft.
Yeah.
We have not seen a great number of tornadoes touch down. There's been the chance that there's been a few, but a lot of these have stayed aloft, and now this is getting off towards the north of Des Arc. So it's moving pretty quickly. Just a moment ago, it was off the west side. Now it's blown through town pretty quickly. I think this tornado warning is in effect for just another few minutes, but they're going to have to make a decision because the warning is moving off towards the east-northeast. Still have the inflow notch to the southeast of Des Arc, but not really much in the way of rotation there. So still just a little bit of weak rotation passing right over Des Arc. And that was really the circulation that prompted this tornado warning in the first place. It weakened, re-strengthened as it came up on Des Arc, and the circulation that was towards the south, that was near Hazen, has completely weakened as well. So a couple of spots that we still have to watch here. And near Des Arc is one of them. It looks like down the line into South Arkansas, there doesn't look like there's much in the way of any tornado potential with any of that. So, Barry, if I'm not mistaken, the National Weather Service has this tornado warning expiring.
I think it's at 1 o'clock in the morning.
1, okay, so 15 more minutes, but I think
that one won't last that long. They may reissue.
They may reissue, yeah, for the circulation north of Des Arc. So Des Arc, it's just a few more minutes till we can give you the all clear with the very weak rotation that's just to your north. Imagine the Weather Service is trying to decide what to do here. It's there. I mean, it's not super strong, but the storm is definitely spinning. You know, it's broad rotation here, just right over Des Arc. It's very quickly moving off towards the northeast. Sand Hill is going to be the next one. It's going to go up Highway 38, and yeah, the weak rotation, it does continue. It's now completely out of the tornado warning that is towards the south and west, and there is the new tornado warning. Now this one's going to go out into Woodruff County, Cotton Plant, Hunter, many areas that were under tornado warnings on Wednesday. Under tornado warnings again, so you're getting the alerts on your phone. We're watching weak rotation near Desark, and we'll just watch this as it crosses over the river here, and we'll be seeing if it can hold together, Barry. I have my doubts that it's going to hold together much longer, but we just seem to be kind of cycling through things. One diminishes and another forms.
It's a ragged front to that, little notches, and so I think they're just exercising caution. But the wind field is certainly strong coming out of Desark there. And so anywhere with some of these notches here, we're just going to, they've kind of broad brushed the area all the way from Cotton Plant, Highway 33 corridor, out to the east of Desark and along Highway 33 east of Desark. There's a lot of wind energy with that storm out there. But it doesn't mean that it's producing severe wind. And it doesn't mean that it can't try to wrap up and produce a tornado, although we're not sure it's doing that now. If you're in the tornado warned area, I will back off. This goes for a long way out here, all the way up to McCrory. If you're in this area, in the Prairie County part of it, I'd go ahead and take cover. If you're in southwestern Woodruff County, be very alert. Keep it tuned right here. We're going to keep you updated. If it starts to tighten somewhat, we can see that. If it's starting to loosen and become just really diffuse, we can tell you that as well. I always like to say, we'll show you where the rotation is and where it's not. And that's what we don't want to unnecessarily warn or scare anybody that doesn't need to be scared along these, because we can be very precise in a lot of cases, unless the rotation is kind of large like this and we're not sure that it's producing a tornado. We're going to, though, just for the sake of this night and this environment, just go ahead and get into that safe spot in your home for just a little while. Go to the interior part of the lowest floor, and it's not going to last very long and be gone. You'll be back in bed before you know it. And radar-wise, we're just looking at this notch that just kind of won't go away. It's just trying to pull dry air in around and into this, and there's just a lot of warmth and moisture out in advance of it. And when I say that's really the only game in town, it's the only wind game in town, but I'm afraid we're going to have to stick with this kind of environment for a while. The storm that's around Sheridan and points southward, don't see any reason to be scared of that one at all, and down into South Arkansas too. We have rain moving back up to the Little Rock area. It's lighter over around Mayflower, Benton, Hot Springs Village, Hot Springs, Perryville, Conway. It's raining, though. It's just rained heavily. And the axis of the heaviest rain has moved some. And that's good news out of all of this, because the flooding is going to be, well, it's going to be pretty bad because we have other rounds of it tonight. And James was showing you how this is all kind of laying on its side, and then the main system will come through. So we've got waves and waves of rain moving back up and then coming through with another disturbance. Tornado warning, though, is still in effect. East of Desark would be an area of rotation if there is any. And, well, it's perhaps trying, but that's, again, I think just a lot of wind energy. It'll be moving briefly off to the east and moving out across the river, across the White River, very soon. There's Georgetown.
I want to show you something, Barry. The area of rotation was a little bit more focused as it came right over Desark, trying to wrap up there. And when I say wrap up, what I mean is you're taking two areas of opposite wind, and they're trying to wrap around one another, and that is what forms your tornado. As this approaches Cotton Plant, we might be getting a newer circulation forming closer to the front of the line of the storm, really starting to get some stronger inbound winds there. And so I think we may actually have two circulations going, and you see all the inflow notches there along this line, and the area of inflow winds racing towards the radar. You have one near Sand Hill and one just off towards the west, but it's this one right here that's a little bit stronger that's just popped up. That's right on Arkansas 33, and this is about to move into Woodruff County. And the next couple of towns down the road here in Woodruff County that I think you just, hey, it's not going to be for long, but Cotton Plant, and that's going to be Little Dixie. And then if you're along Highway 306 near Beckton, Highway 17, and I would say even all the way up to Howell. Let's just go ahead and get into the safe place. You know, I would say McCrory, you're probably so far north that you don't need to shelter in place right now. I would imagine some of you didn't even get the warning on your phone because you're so close. Your city actually sits just outside of that. But that's some pretty strong rotation that's coming up towards the cotton plant area. May go just north of cotton plant along Arkansas 17. We just tracked 3 or 4 tornado warned storms back through here on Wednesday. So an area of the state we now are very familiar with if we hadn't gone through there enough. When I storm chased, went through here quite a bit. There's a couple of pixels in here that give me pause about the tornado threat. I think we have some very strong rotation there coming into Little Dixie. Yeah, right there. Mm-hmm. So we got another area of rotation right there. It could be maybe towards the north, or maybe there's a couple of different spots along the leading edge of that line. But all day we've seen these storms try to spin, and they've not exactly been efficient at producing tornadoes like I thought they would be. And that's a great thing. But if you are near Little Dixie, Highway 33, Number 6 Road, and North Branham Road, I've got some strong rotation there. And remember, we're looking at a still image, so it's probably crossing Highway 38 right now and getting north of Highway 38. We'll get another scan here in just a moment. I will look to see if there's a debris signature with this, and it does not look like there does. There often is not with these brief tornadoes on the leading edge of lines. Even if a tornado does occur, they don't throw things that high into the air, so it's very hard for the radar to see them. But that's what we've got right now is the very strong area of rotation that's getting very close to Little Dixie, and this is now in Woodruff County. We first started tracking this group of storms after a little bit of a lull this evening coming out of the Arkadelphia area, and we pretty much have stayed with it through Hot Spring County into Grant County, Pulaski County, and through Lone Oak Prairie, and now into Woodruff County. So lots of warnings, Barry. Hopefully not many tornado reports, but I think we're starting to wind down the tornado warning phase of this, and I'm moving towards more of a flash flood phase of this. We still have very strong rotation that's near Little Dixie. That's off Arkansas Highway 33. We're going to be getting a new scan here in a minute. That's the strongest that this little pixel and this little area of rotation has been. Looks like the Weather Service just going to keep the tornado warning in place until this thing goes away.
Yeah.
And there may even be a second area of rotation off towards the north of Highway 33, another couple areas of strong inflow winds and maybe a couple of pixels where we could get this thing wrapped up. So really watching 2 spots. And generally, this type of tornado at this time of night is a weaker one. Weaker tornado is still a dangerous tornado, but you end up with down trees, down power lines, roof damage, stuff like that. You need to be in a safe place, for sure. But this is not the type of tornado that, like earlier today, we thought we might have a violent tornado. This is not that type of setup. But still, a tornado is a tornado. Coming up on Little Dixie, should be having a, there's your update. Still pretty strong. 2 pretty strong instances of rotation there now north and along Highway 33, and this is north of where 33 turns into 38, Barry. So getting now into Woodruff County, this is staying southeast of Georgetown. Barry, I think this may split the distance between Cotton Plant and McCrory, go right through the middle of town, or I'm sorry, the middle of the county. So here we are. We're going to go northeast. We're going to go right over Highway 17. McCrory's well towards the north. Augusta's well towards the north. I don't think this is going to be a threat towards Augusta, but hey, looking at some of the latest scans, Barry, we're getting some pretty high values on the tornado for a tornado vortex signature, not a debris signature, but a tornado vortex signature. Where you have quite a bit of inbound wind, quite a bit of outbound wind, and then you got a possible tornado right in here, right along Arkansas Highway 33, staying north of 38, heading into Daggett, County Road 102, County Road 103, and Highway 103 out in Woodruff County. I think it's a very good possibility that this may try to produce a tornado just based on the strength of the circulation. And
it's interesting to me, James, that this extension of the tornado watch goes all the way out to right there. And there's nothing east of that. And so I think the thinking is from the Storm Prediction Center that this is going to start to run out of the ability to really ingest a lot of warm, humid air. But we're still within that area. So let's go back to that area of rotation, and it's just to the northwest of Cotton Plant. I'm going to go back up there. And we have flash flood warnings in effect also, but what we're looking for is the wind aspect of this. And there it is, northwest Cotton Plant. And it's really trying to rotate there. I don't know if it's doing it, but it's moving away from and toward the radar site on Highway 33 out to the west of Cotton Plant. And hopefully just as quickly as it's kind of ramped up, it'll start to lose its focus. But it is rather focused right now in that notch. Between Cotton Plant and McCrory is where it's going to go along Highway 17. And there it is. We'll be waiting for a new scan coming up, but it is emerging out there, and it's pretty strong in just a small area or two. And so I think what we've noticed tonight is these areas have been really small, couplets, and they don't last very long, but we're not entirely sure that they can't produce a tornado, because I think they can for a brief amount of time. And I just don't think it's going to be like earlier in the day we said some of these severe thunderstorms, these supercells get out there, they could have long track, large tornadoes, and that really never manifested itself. But tonight, that's not really what we're looking at. We're looking at smaller potential for tornadoes, smaller aerial coverage, and not even a sure thing that they're making it to the ground. But we're going to warn for those, National Weather Service is, as they move off to the north of Cotton Plant. There's a new scan right there, and it continues to move toward the Highway 17 corridor. And the inbound winds may be about as strong as I've seen.
Yeah, and
outbound winds not terribly impressive, but the inbound winds really impressive.
The radar is hitting this just over 4,000 feet. It's not too terribly high, so we can still assess real good low-level rotation here. And we are not getting a tornado debris signature with it. Now, we are getting all the alarms going off here saying this is rotating. We know that's occurring, but we don't know that it's just throwing debris up into the air, at least not to 4,000 feet, because we don't have the radar telling us that that is happening. So could it produce a weak tornado that doesn't throw debris up in the air? Absolutely, but it's not a strong tornado that we have right now, even though the rotation is pretty strong. This is heading in the direction of Howell in central Woodruff County. So again, we've been calling out different town names. It's a good idea to go ahead and get in that tornado safe spot. This is approaching Arkansas Highway 17. And again, it's had really good low-level circulation here for about the last 15 minutes since it left the Desark area. We're now well into Woodruff County with some very strong rotation that just seems to not want to quit. This thing is going towards a more of a flash flood event. We could still have some severe weather in the morning as this event kind of resets itself. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show a statewide view here, kind of what's happening, and I'm going to put this in motion for the last 3 hours and kind of show where these storms have been tracking. You see the storms as they came through the Little Rock metro area. Looks like to me that the storms off in western Arkansas, these are starting to lift more towards the north. And that is some very heavy rainfall headed back into Arkadelphia where significant flooding is expected, Hot Springs, and then eventually back into Little Rock and maybe even into the Conway areas. So we are seeing kind of the flooding situation really begin to take shape over south and southwest Arkansas and eventually into the central Arkansas area as well. The one last tornado warning that we have, if you happen to be joining us, Woodruff County, you got the alert on your phone, and you're wondering what is happening, why did my phone wake me up, where's the tornado? Well, we've got an area of strong rotation that is going to pass north of Cotton Plant that is headed for Howell along Arkansas Highway 17. Howell sits right there at the bend in Highway 17, and this is passing just north of Daggett. It's been pretty strong rotation here for at least a little bit. It's probably going to start to weaken pretty soon. I don't know, Barry. We keep looking for some type of debris signature, and still just do not seem to be able to find one. Doesn't mean a tornado can't be down, but the rotation is still strong, and it's headed towards central Woodruff County. But let's just hope, like so many of our other storms today, this is staying above the ground level. We want it to just be just above. And hopefully this is our last tornado warning for a very, very long time. Can't rule them out in the morning, though. As this next line of storms comes through, I bet we see a few here in maybe southern and eastern Arkansas, southeastern Arkansas. That's where the highest threat is going to be tomorrow morning.
Hopefully this is it, as you said, for a long time to come. We're looking at this is from the Memphis radar now, it'll move eventually over into Cross County, but these things aren't moving very fast or very progressively off to the east. So we're watching this area north of Cotton Plant. I don't think the outbound aspect of this is quite as good as it was. The inbound, though, still pretty pronounced. It's trying to wrap that rain around a circulation center, and hopefully we see a real reduction in this as we head into the 1 o'clock and beyond hour. This is the leading edge of a big area of rainfall, and then it will move into an area that hasn't had any rainfall. I mean, eastern Arkansas, it's been dry as a bone all the day there, and that's, for as much rain as we had, that's kind of hard to believe. You, too, in eastern Arkansas will get that rain aspect of the storm, though, and it'll be some heavy rain. But for right now, we're watching just Woodruff County, a tornado-warned storm. National Weather Service has been watching it as well, and they're going to continue. Yeah, I'm gonna check the hail. Well, it doesn't look all that big.
So that's the storm scan had a 1-inch marker show up.
It did, yeah, 1.23, and this isn't really showing that as much.
I'm still getting a couple of different areas of rotation signature, but one pixel area there is right around County Road 9 in central Woodruff County, west of Highway 17. The main circulation, though, does look to be just the west of Howell. And sometimes you can get large circulations like this, especially kind of embedded in a line where you get two areas of rotation that form. That might be what's happening here as we're headed towards Howell. Again, this is at 5,000 feet. Hopefully all of this is staying above the ground. And even when we were in the Little Rock area and this storm was spinning and the radar was hitting at a few hundred feet, it was spinning close to the ground level, but nothing ever made it to the ground. And that is certainly very, very good news. Lots of storms spinning today, but very few tornado reports.
Just keeps wanting to rotate on the leading edge of that.
Yeah, every time one diminishes, a new one forms.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Crossing very slow rate now, crossing the highway between McCrory and Cotton Plant, Highway 17 there. As it, I'm going to go back a few scans here and show you that it just continues. I think it was a little more pronounced right there to the northwest of Cotton Plant. That was probably the strongest couplet that we saw. So I'll compare that to what we're seeing now. And it's certainly not as strong. A little more diffuse, not the bright inbound, not the strong inbound winds that it was. So hopefully this is the weakening phase that we've been looking for with this storm, but it still is trying to pull raindrops within the wind around that center of circulation. Again, I'm just going to put that into motion for you and show you that through Des Arc, kind of a tight couplet there, and then a little bit more west of Cotton Plant, and now just the wind field is just a little bit less. The Memphis radar, though, looking at it from another angle, still some circulation center there. Okay, so we're going to have to watch this storm looking at it from two different perspectives. So this is the Memphis radar not looking through much in the way of rainfall and the velocity product from it. So it's still showing something. And then as we move a little bit this way, that's the Little Rock radar. So they're about the same distance away from this storm as it continues to move off to the east. And the National Weather Service is probably going to have to see a little more than this to let this tornado go. They're saying the best circulation is around Howell, and there's Howell right there. And so right along Highway 17, McCrory up to the north, Beckton, small community of Beckton along Highway 17 right there. And that's the best circulation. Where those two come together, it'd be on the, just right around Howell, maybe on the north side. Highway 260 junction with 17 right there. That's the area. Now that's what they say the best circulation is. It doesn't mean it's terribly strong circulation, but certainly enough that the National Weather Service on a night like this is going to say, hey, we're going to go with this. If you're in this corridor along Highway 17, central Woodruff County, south of McCrory, go ahead and get into that safe spot, into the lowest floor of your home, most interior part. It's going to end at some point, folks. It just not quite ended yet. And hopefully the tornado part of this, though.
Looks like it's a little bit more broad.
Yeah,
Not
it is.
quite as compact. Still some rotation there that's south of McCrory. But hopefully that's the first sign that this is starting to kind of weaken a little bit. You still have just north of Howell a broad area of rotation. When I say broad, I mean it just covers a larger area. The wider an area of rotation is, the weaker you can assume it is. If you had a really wide vortex, it's going to spin pretty slow. You start to compact that vortex, it's going to spin faster and faster and faster and faster. It's kind of the top theory. If you were spinning on one leg, you put your arms out, you're going to spin slower. You bring those arms in, you're going to spin faster. It's that theory at work in the atmosphere as well. And so near Highway 17, you see a tornado warning getting clipped there to really just include Howell and areas off towards the east into Woodruff County. We've got a very wide, broad circulation. It's not as compact as it was earlier, so it looks like less of a threat to produce, at least at this second. We never got to see a debris signature, which is a good thing. Didn't see much in the way of tornado debris signatures today. I thought we might. Telling you, everything from yesterday through about 4 o'clock this afternoon told us that today was just going to be a very, very, very bad day, and the long-track tornado supercell threat just never got going. It's the best case scenario for us. If we had to deal with bad weather, I'd rather deal with tornadoes or storms that spin but don't produce tornadoes, and that has been the case so far tonight. But these storms do want to spin. They're just having trouble reaching the ground. We just have not heard very many damage reports or any damage reports since these storms really came out of the metro area or were in the metro area. Not many power outages, and that is certainly a good thing. It's the less disruption we experience to our lives, the better. And of course, no loss of life today in any of these storms.
James, I'm going to point out an area back on the radar here.
Yeah.
Look at this area of rainfall, southwest Arkansas. Really starting to blossom. I don't see any severe weather with that, but there are going to be some heavy downpours of rain. And guess where that's all headed? It's all headed up into the northeast. And so that's that area back behind, and we're going to start to see that lift up and go over the same areas. And so the National Weather Service is looking at that, and flash flood warnings are already in effect. It's already saturated in a number of spots. And so if you get underneath one of those very heavy rain bands, there's lightning along with it as well. So it lets you know that there's it's not so much a severe risk, but just a heavy rainfall event. Just a lot of water content in the air still. And it's going to be a while before it gets out of here. So that's just something to watch as we head into well, really the next 24 hours or so, actually about 18 hours, and then we should start to see the end of it start to wind down. We're going to go ahead and move into that area in Woodruff County and continue to look at the storm velocity product south of McCrory. There's that rotation that's trying to occur on the highway south of McCrory. That's probably the best indication of rotation right now, maybe just to the east of Highway 17. Small roadways there, Highway 145. And we don't know that this is producing a tornado at all, but tornado warned storm with these inflow notches along there. And there could be multiple areas that try to rotate, but that one looks like the the only one that we're really looking at in that Woodruff County storm. And hopefully we see nothing like that anywhere else along the leading edge of the line on down to the south for tonight. The Weather Service has this tornado warning in effect, I believe, until 1:30 in the morning. Seeing some pictures. James has posted some of those about Arkadelphia, some flooding in that area. And there's more to come because I showed you that whole area in southwest Arkansas. All right. Still looking at this storm south of McCrory. Still looking at the velocity product of it. It just won't move very much. It's not as strong as it was, but it's still there. And I'm sure the National Weather Service is going to just stay with this storm as it continues to move off to the east.
Yeah, and Memphis is already warning for it now. Got the new tornado warning that goes out into goes all the way out into Poinsett County. It goes out into Cross County, and so they're likely just going to stick with it. Actually, getting a pretty tight circulation there south of McCrory now. Looks like a couple of pixels. Try to meet up there.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and zoom in on that. So we'll look at it from the Memphis radar.
The Memphis radar looks a little bit better at this point.
Yeah, so you can see.
Yeah, it's just south of McCrory. Yeah, McCrory, just stay in your central part of your room, the central part of your house, the bathroom. You know, it's too close for comfort. Even though a lot of these have struggled to put a tornado down on the ground, you don't want to be the one case where it dropped and you didn't take action. Still got the weak rotation there. It's just to the south of McCrory, and eventually it's going to move up to the north of Wynn. You got Harrisburg up here in Poinsett County, and this is Poinsett and Cross counties now under this next tornado warning. So this will be moving out of the Channel 7 TV market here within about, I'd say, 20 minutes or so, maybe less than that. The area of rotation that we're watching is near Grays, County Highway 630, County Highway 635, County Highway 316, approaching Arkansas Highway 145, and just to the east of Arkansas Highway 17. Instead of moving directly north, it's really moving northeast, so it's not going directly through McCrory unless you're on the south side of that. And then this is headed up towards Morton and Tilton as well, up around Highway 64. So the next scan will have this probably placed closer to Highway 64. So everybody just remain calm, remain in your tornado safe spot. This is going to get through here. Again, a lot of our storms tonight have not produced tornadoes for whatever reason. But again, it doesn't mean that this one cannot.
Yeah, we'll watch it until it's out of our viewing area there. And it just keeps reforming, and it's just trying to look for an area that is a little more conducive to development, where the warm air, and I think it's finding something like that just to the south of McCrory. Certainly not strong. I'm going to go back on my computer here, and I'll go back a few scans and show you that it was, I think, more powerful. If we go back to Max 2, sorry. It was a little more powerful earlier, but there still is that rotation center, and it just jogged a little bit to the north. So that's the last few scans right there. On the southeast side of McCrory, a couple of pixels of winds coming toward and going away from the radar site in Little Rock. And if you look at the Memphis radar, yeah, going away from the radar site in the red there and coming toward down here. And it's not terribly impressive, but enough so that the National Weather Service has continued the tornado warning for that area. And Memphis has continued it over into Cross County and Poinsett County. That's just Cross County, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right, and there it is on Highway 145, just to the south of town. So if you're along the highway there, go ahead and get into that safe spot very briefly. This is not, it's moving fairly quickly, and we don't know if it's producing a tornado or not, but we will tell you that if it does briefly, you're going to want to be in that interior part of your house. Go ahead and take the precaution. Debris-wise, I don't really see anything that would indicate that. and rainfall-wise, it is completely rain-wrapped.
Yeah,
It
impossible
looks like as well.
to see. It just really be a rain-wrapped, full of water tornado that would down trees and power lines if this thing gets down to the ground. Got some roads on here for you. Highway 145, County Road 365, County Road 306. That's going to be moving up towards County Road 430, County Road 445, Highway 64. As it moves towards the northeast. And there's the next scan. You see we're getting very close to Highway 64 again. This is staying just to the southeast of, well, the main area of McCrory. Of course, if you live just towards the east or just towards the southeast of town, I'm sure many of you do, you make sure that you're in that safe place at least for another just another few minutes. It is going to head towards Morton, and after that, we'll be headed towards Tilton, and that's going to cross Highway 49 there. As we move into Cross County, we're now getting into far eastern, very far eastern Woodruff County. I do want to point out that the line is appearing to try to rotate across the southern portion of Jackson County as well, and I think that's why Memphis went ahead and issued their tornado warning for Fisher all the way up to Harrisburg into the southern part of Poinsett County, because they think this area might have some rotation along the line as well. It's just this big line segment moving into a favorable region where wind profiles could support a tornado or two. And so they've been preemptive with their warnings. They did that the other night. They've done a good job with that, and that's why you're getting the alerts all the way out from Wynn, really all the way out to Fisher. It looks like Barry is still very broad area of rotation here from the Little Rock radar, from the Memphis radar.
Right.
I'd say the area in Jackson County is pretty weak. The stronger area continues to be near Highway 64. And depending on which radar you look at, it flips the color scale because it measures the wind moving towards and away from the radar. And we just got a little bit more of this tornado warning to cover before it begins to move out of the Channel 7 TV market and into the Jonesboro market. Morton, just in your tornado safe place for a little bit longer here. Barry, it feels like the forward motion beginning to slow a little bit as these storms kind of orient themselves more for the flash flood event that we have coming later tonight and into tomorrow. I will tell you, as we have just stayed up late enough to get the new day one outlook, the Storm Prediction Center went ahead and issued a enhanced risk for severe weather across most of Arkansas, the southeast half of the state today. And I'll show you where that is, and you just have to ignore the descriptions there. But that enhanced risk today extends back towards Memphis, back towards Pine Bluff, and back towards Texarkana. The main severe threat tomorrow is going to be damaging winds and an isolated tornado or two, and that does correspond to a medium tornado threat. Not Friday afternoon, evening, but Saturday morning into early Saturday afternoon. We could see a few storms spin up, and we probably will see a few tornado warnings this late morning as the final round, the finale, swings through the state. There's that, and of course, not to mention, we have the big threat for flash flooding, and depends on which model you look at, but we're still expecting several more inches with the band of rain that is going to fall tonight into tomorrow. And just trying to pull up a rainfall graphic here. Not very able to get that to happen. But it is going to continue raining, and it will continue raining a lot until this is gone on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, eventually that's going to be the big threat. Plenty of rain in southwest Arkansas, but the leading edge here, moving over into southern Jackson County and off to the east of McCrory. The last few, this was so far south of McCrory, and then the rotation just kind of keeps lifting and lifting and lifting, and then this other area trying to rotate as well in southern part of Jackson County. And my son is watching tonight, and he said, you know, there's exactly one area in the United States, one tornado warning in the entire United States right now. And this is it. This is it. This is this storm and the extension of this tornado warning over is the only one that is going anywhere in the United States. So we have off to the east of McCrory still that area that is trying to rotate back. And it's fairly weak, it's fairly broad, but it is still there. And then the National Weather Service has just issued, just in case, and looking at their radar there, for on out and into Cross County in eastern Arkansas, Cross and Poinsett County. This will be out of our area soon, but it just keeps lifting north. Every time it starts to move north, it just keeps lifting north, and it's almost like it's moving almost due north now. I know it's not, but it's moving fairly close to north as it continues in northeastern Woodruff County, heading up toward Highway 145, which makes a curve right there. That's the southeastern part of Jackson County with this area of rotation. We've had no reason to indicate that there is a tornado on the ground with this, but the National Weather Service in this environment says, hey, we're going to stick with this, and there's plenty of rainfall. And look at this. You would not know where the tornado is. It's right in the middle of all of this mass of rain. It's completely rain-wrapped. If there should be, in the rare instance there could be a tornado, it would be completely rain-wrapped. We have the velocity product on here, and it just keeps almost moving backwards, it seems like. It's just rotating up instead of really getting any progressive forward movement. It's gone from well south of McCrory to just the east side of town to kind of up to the northeast of it, right there.
All right, Steve, if we can take Storyteller for just a moment. I want to show some pictures that we have, and a couple of these are from Arkadelphia, and this is from the Arkadelphia flooding situation. Obviously, the submitter did not want their name mentioned there. They put anonymous. But that is Arkadelphia. That was a few hours ago. Flash flood warnings are in effect there, and just doesn't seem like a real good situation there. I think this area is prone to flooding, but well, we knew the flood-prone spots were going to be big problems. I think we'll have problems in spots that are not prone to flooding. How about this? This was the earlier storm that went through Perry County, and this was when we saw the funnel cloud on the storm that was coming out of the Bigelow and Houston areas. That's a big lowering there at the base of that supercell. It's a pretty cool picture that we saw earlier. How about this picture? This was near Hunter, and that is a big wall cloud at the base of that supercell, and that's exactly what you think you will see on big tornado days. It's just for whatever reason, the storms really didn't produce tornadoes. Now, the one exception could have been up towards Cave City and the Cushman areas. This is a picture from up there, and that looks, well, it's pretty conclusive. It could have been the tornado that moved through that area of the state. I've seen a couple of different angles of that, a couple of different videos of that. And then how about this? We saw a lot of this evening. That was west of Hot Springs. That was the shelf cloud that came in. And then, of course, if you'll remember, we had this one from a drone live on air. That was the funnel cloud that went west of Conway. It was tornado warned for a short period of time. There's been some hail out there today as well. That was yesterday in Watson Chapel. We've got a lot more pictures. If you happen to still be watching us, you can send it to our Facebook inbox. Or you can send it to katv.com/chime-in. Chime-in is the easiest way to get it directly to us, but the Facebook inbox will also work just fine. That's a video of some lightning there, and that was through Woodson. That was when we had a really strong storm go through southern Pulaski County not too long ago. There's a really high-definition photo there of that lightning. We are just about to wrap up our tornado coverage here, and though it has not been as significant and as widespread as it looked this morning, we have had plenty of warnings today, and even though the tornadoes may not have been long-tracked or intense, that's a very good thing. We still have one final circulation for us to watch, and let's go back to Max 1. We'll look at it. It's over Highway 49, and it's just getting very close now to Tilton. Getting very close now to, I think that's the, it's hard to think this late, Cross County line?
Cross County, and then Poinsett County is just on up.
Yeah, that's the Cross
so
County
Fisher
line.
is in Poinsett County.
Yeah, starting to have trouble thinking now.
It's been a long day. Yeah, that rotation just keeps lifting north and north and north and north rather than moving off to the northeast, which it was doing. So it's
we have about 15,000 people without power across the state, but these are very scattered, really all around. Woodruff County is reporting 7 outages. Prairie County 200. Lonoke County has some of the most with 2,800 out with the, looks like those high winds that came through just a bit earlier. This storm is getting ready now to exit the Little Rock market, and the tornado warning has, looks like, Barry, possibly been canceled.
Well, we're looking right there. Yeah, they expired it at 1:36. So it is finished. As we look around the state, we'll continue to watch the heavy rainfall that is setting up in southwest Arkansas. I think tornado risk is really pretty negligible there. There's some hail threat with some of these storms back behind, like over at Mena right now. We'll watch the leading edge of these storms down around Pine Bluff. They have some outflow that has come out from them, so not too worried about those. And then this area has moved over into Cross and into Poinsett County in eastern Arkansas, and it's pretty diffuse at that. This is about 1:30 in the morning. We don't go this late with coverage like this very often, but it could have been a lot worse today. The light of day will show what damage is out there. The light of day, unfortunately, is probably also going to show a lot of flooding. So be very mindful of that tomorrow. If you have to be out early, you're going through an area that, yeah, it's a pretty low-lying area, and it's been raining all night in your area, don't go through water. You don't know absolutely that it's less than a foot deep, because it could float your car otherwise. Don't go in if you don't know, even for a little bit of it. It could be 2 feet deep. It could float your car away. Let's be safe. Let's get through this horrible, horrible stretch of weather safely, and we're going to continue to cover this as we head into the day tomorrow. But for now, we're going to break for this, and we'll continue to watch the storms as they progress across the state, and we'll send you back to programming. Thanks for trusting us with your weather information.